Out of all the small towns in the US, Petoskey ranked in the top 100, and it consistently ranks among the best places to live in Michigan according to niche.com. So I want to dig deep into one of Northern Michigan's most iconic towns. Today we're going to talk about the good, the bad, and yes, even the ugly. While it's well known to the locals, Petoskey sometimes still doesn't get the attention it deserves. So today I'm going to give you my perspective of Petoskey from someone who has lived in Northern Michigan for over 40 years. First of all, let's talk about where Petoskey is located and why people love it so much. You'll find Petoskey located in Northern Michigan on the northwest side of the state. What makes it so special? I believe it's the fact that it's located along Little Traverse Bay with some of the best views you will ever see. It's also closer to bigger cities if you feel like making a road trip. Living in Petoskey gives you the best of both worlds. You get the small town feel, yet still close to all the amenities you need for day-to-day life. Here's a quick overview. Petoskey has just over 6,000 residents. It's 5.5 hours from Chicago and just 4 hours away from Detroit. And if you've watched my videos before, you know one of my favorite things to do is drive an hour and a half to the Sherry Capital Airport in Traverse City and take a 37-minute flight to Chicago. One of the cool facts about flying to Chicago from Traverse City is that with the time change, the time you leave is almost exactly the time you arrive. So you save an hour of your life. Petoskey truly has a small town feel with a laid-back lifestyle, yet still giving you access to everything you need. But now that you know where Petoskey is, let's talk about what there is to do here. But first, please hit the subscribe button so you never miss a video about Petoskey and Northern Michigan. Your support means I can keep making these great videos and produce them for you completely free. Of course, if you're familiar with Petoskey, you know that Petoskey is great for everything outdoor related. But believe it or not, there is more to Petoskey than just what you can do in the great outdoors. When you're talking about outdoor activity in Petoskey, it's important to mention our parks and hiking trails. One thing that I think is really cool about living in this area is the Little Traverse Conservancy. It seems like every year a local family is buying or donating a large piece of land which turns into public land that everybody can walk. Click this link for the Little Traverse Conservancy website that will show you a detailed view of all the public land you can access in Emmett County. Another well-known aspect of living in Petoskey in terms of being outside are the beaches. Petoskey has Petoskey State Park, which is one of the most popular beaches in all of Northern Michigan. There's camping sites and a large stretch of Sugar Sand Beach just a few minutes from downtown that locals and tourists alike love. If you're looking for something to do in the winter, of course Petoskey has great access to local ski hills. Nubbs Knob and Boyne Highlands, which are directly across the street from each other and about 10 minutes from downtown, are two of the Midwest's most popular ski resorts, and they're located right here in Northern Michigan. Another outdoor activity that is extremely popular in Northern Michigan, specifically Petoskey, is fishing. Petoskey is truly one of the best places in the Midwest to fish. Whether you want to go to the Child's Pond at the waterfront park or fish on Little Traverse Bay, there is truly a fishing experience for everyone. Some of the favorite local fishing spots are the Bear River for salmon, Walloon Lake, or even Lake Charlevoix. You can catch everything from brook trout to walleye to salmon. Also, if you want a more laid-back approach to fishing in Northern Michigan, there are several great charter fishing companies that will take you on the bay, show you where the fish are, help you catch them, and even clean them on the way back. One of the lesser-known aspects of Petoskey is the culture and art scene. Although downtown Petoskey is relatively very small, it is home to the Crooked Tree Art Center, which is a great spot to experience both the culture and the arts of the area. There's always art on display or local shows, and it's truly a hidden gem that not a lot of people know about. Also, Petoskey has some great historical sites, from the Stafford Perry Hotel to the Victorian homes on Mitchell. It doesn't take you long once you're in the area to realize Petoskey has a ton of history and has been here for a very long time. In fact, there's a trail along the old railroad tracks that were actually in use not that long ago, which gives Petoskey a very historic feel. Of course, where Petoskey is located and what there is to do here is a very big part of the Petoskey lifestyle. But what is it actually like to live in Petoskey? One thing that I love about Petoskey is it gives you the small town feel with a big focus on health and wellness. It seems like a lot of people that have relocated here have chosen to do so because of the active lifestyle that Petoskey affords. Also, I can't tell you how many people who have moved here that told me they are surprised with how quickly they felt like one of the locals. This is a very welcoming community for people moving here, and we always welcome new residents with open arms. One of the things that make Petoskey such a big area for health and wellness is just how easy and how many options there are to be active, whether it's the Little Travers Wheelway or one of the handful of spectacular gyms located right here in Petoskey, as well as more niche sports like volleyball, pickleball, basketball, baseball, and there's even an adult soccer league. Also, having access to one of the best hospitals in the Midwest, McLaren Health Systems, is one of the reasons that a lot of people choose to retire in Petoskey because they want that access to a spectacular hospital. Having grown up in Northern Michigan, I have not always lived in Petoskey. In fact, it wasn't until my son was born about 10 years ago that I decided to move here. And the biggest influence to that decision was the school system. Whether it's the public schools or the private school in town, Petoskey has a very high rating for the educational system. Another one of my favorite aspects of living in Petoskey is the dining and food scene. For being a small town, Petoskey has a ton of food options. Whether you want to get a casual lunch at Jose's or a nice dinner at Pour right downtown, or something in between, there are tons of restaurant options, and I promise you will never get bored. Also, Petoskey is underrated as a great place for pizza. Whether it's Mighty Fine Pizza right next door to my office, BC Pizza, or even Beers Brewery, there is a ton of great pizza in Petoskey. So if pizza's your thing, you're going to love it here. Do you see yourself living in a place like Petoskey? What do you think about the lifestyle so far? Please drop a comment below and let me know your thoughts. And if you could see this town being your next home, let's talk about some of the real estate options. Now, Petoskey's real estate market is pretty varied, and it goes without saying, the prices in the last 5 or 6 years have definitely gone up, almost double what they were pre-pandemic. But try not to let that scare you, as there are still some affordable options in Petoskey, and we are seeing prices slow a little bit as the recording of this video. If you want a starter home, you can expect to pay around $300,000. Now, the home may need a little work or may be located a little bit outside of town, but those options are still available. A lot of people ask me if I want a 3 or 4 bedroom house with 2 or 3 bathrooms in a good location, what should I expect to spend? Every year that goes up a little bit, but I would say plan on spending right around $500,000 to find a property that meets those needs. Another aspect of Petoskey is the high-end real estate market. Whether it's Bay Harbor, Walloon Lake, or even some pockets of downtown, there are areas where the homes start at right around $2 million, which comparatively to the rest of the Midwest makes it extremely high. But if you look at the price and the lifestyle that you get in Petoskey for the money and compare it to places around the country, I still believe Petoskey is a value. What do you think? Am I crazy? Is Petoskey overpriced or a value? I'd love to see your comments below. One great aspect of buying a house in Petoskey is the property taxes are still comparatively low. Unless you're buying downtown where the property taxes are going to be a little bit higher, some of the more rural areas have very low property taxes. Now let's talk about some of the challenges of moving to Petoskey. First, as we just mentioned, it's the price. While I still think Petoskey is a good value, if you look at what the jobs pay in this area, it is very hard, unfortunately, to work and live in Petoskey, meaning most of the people that are moving here are either retired or work remotely. Also, while we have a ton of demand for people moving to Petoskey, there are only so many houses available for sale. I always tell people to begin their home search as early as possible. That way you can get a good feel for the market. And when you're giving you the opportunity, when you're ready to buy, to be able to act quickly, because that is truly what it takes in this market. Another challenge of living in Petoskey is public transportation. We simply don't have buses or even Ubers to get around, so owning 1 car or 2 cars for a family is going to be extremely important here. To make moving to Petoskey a little bit easier for you, here are some tips to consider. Make sure you plan and do your research accordingly. If you are moving here and want to be here by a specific time, I would pick that date and work backwards, meaning you should call a real estate agent about 6 months before you're planning to move here, just to get a better feel for what is going on in the market. Also, that way you can pick out which areas you like or don't like. Although Northern Michigan is very small, there are tons of different places to live, and maybe it won't even be Petoskey itself. Boyne City, Charlevoix, and Harbor Springs offer a completely different lifestyle than Petoskey and are still a short drive away for your daily commute. I can't stress enough how acquiring a property in Petoskey may take longer than expected, so it is important to start your search as early as possible. That way you don't feel rushed along the way. Working with a local real estate agent gives you a huge advantage in Petoskey. So if Petoskey sounds like it could be your next home, I'd love to help you. I've helped over 600 families either buy or sell in Northern Michigan, and I've been doing this for 22 years. Needless to say, I can help you with anything because I've seen everything. And if you found this video helpful, check out my next video, which is the ultimate comparison between Traverse City and Petoskey. Those are two very similar towns, and chances are you're trying to pick between which one of those works best for you. And after watching this video, if you'd like to learn more about living in Petoskey or anywhere else in Northern Michigan, please reach out to me directly at 231-487-6141. See you on the next video.